Hello everyone. We were discussing the sample paper issued by the CBSE for the board exam 2020-21, and in the last video I have discussed part A from section 1. 16 questions were there. All the questions were for 1 mark. In today's video I will be discussing case study based question. So this is from section 2 from the same part A. And these case study based questions, it is compulsory. Totally we have 4 case study based questions, and each case study based question has got 5 subparts, and you need to attempt any 4 subparts from 4 subparts, and each subpart carry 1 mark. So let's see first case study based question. So it is sunroom. The diagrams show the plans for a sunroom. It will be built onto the wall of a house. The 4 walls of the sunroom are square, clear glass panels. The roof is made using 4 clear glass panels, trapezium in shape, all the same size, and 1 tinted glass panel, half a regular octagon in shape. So you can see the diagram here. So this diagram, it shows the plans for the sunroom, and it will be built onto the wall of the house. You can see these are the 4 walls of the house, and these 4 walls of the sunroom, they are square clear glass panels. So these are square clear, and this is the 4th one. And the roof, you have 4 clear glass panels which are trapezium in shape. You can see that this is trapezium in shape. You have 4 glass panels, clear glass panels. Again you have 1 tinted glass panel. It is half regular octagon. That also you can see it is half regular octagon. And they have given the top view and the front view they have given here in this figure. And also the scale is given. 1 centimeter is equal to 1 meter. So if you can consider this as x-axis, that is OX, and then this is y-axis. Now let's see the question. So refer to the top view. So the first question is, find the midpoint of the line segment joining the points J 617 and I 916. So if you count also, you can see the points J. The question refers to the top view. So this is the top view. So the J coordinate and the I coordinate is given in the question. So just you need to find the midpoint, and we know the midpoint formula. Midpoint formula is x1 plus x2 by 2 and y1 plus y2 by 2. So here this is x1 y1 and this will be x2 y2. We need to add x1 plus y1 is 6 plus 9 by 2 and 17 plus 16 by 2. So when you do this, we'll be having 15 by 2 and 33 by 2. So the midpoint of the line segment joining the points is 15 by 2 and 33 by 2. So this case study based question is from the chapter coordinate geometry. Now next they have given, refer to the top view. So you have to see the top view. The distance of the point P from y-axis. So distance of the point P from y-axis. So here is our point P. We have to find the distance of this point from y-axis. This is my y-axis. So count 1, 2, 3, 4. So the answer is 4 units or 4. So this is the correct answer. This is the correct answer for this question. Again they have given, refer to the front view. The distance between the point A and S. So you have to refer the front view. So the front view is this one. We need to find the distance between the point A and S. So again start counting. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 and 16. A and S. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. So S is here 16. Otherwise you can find out the coordinates of A. Again you can find out the coordinates of X. Then you can find out the distance between A and S using distance formula also. So here I have counted the division. So I got the answer as 16. The distance between point A and S is 16. Now next question is, refer to the front view. Find the coordinates of the point which divide the line segment joining the points A and B in the ratio 1:3. So we have to find out first A and B, then divide in the ratio 1:3. So my coordinates of A I have to find out. The coordinates of A is, this is 1. So 1, x coordinate will be 1, y coordinate will be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 8, and coordinate of B will be 2, 3, 4, 5. So 5, B is at the point 5. Coordinate of B is 5. So till here we have counted 8. So this is 9, 10. So coordinate of B is 5, 10. Now we have to find the coordinate which divides, we have to find the coordinate of this point which divides the line segment in the ratio 1:3. So we can use the section formula. We know the section formula is m1 x2 plus m2 x1 divided by m1 plus m2. In the same way, y coordinate we can find out using the formula m1 y2 plus m2 y1 divided by m1 plus m2. This is my x1 y1, this is my x2 y2, and m1 is 1, m2 is 3. So when you substitute, you will be getting m1 is 1, x2 we have 5, so 5, 1 into 5 is 5, plus 3 into 1 is 3, divided by 1 plus 3 is 4. This is my x coordinate, and my y coordinate is m1 y2, that is 1 into 10 is 10, and 3 into 8, 3 into 8 is 24. So 3 into 8, 24 divided by 4. So this, when you simplify, you will have 8 by 4 and 34 by 4. 8 by 4 is 2 and 34 by 4 is 8.5. So let's see whether that answer is there. 2 and 8.5 is there in the option. You can see it is there, 2 and 8.5. Now the last one. So 5 questions are there total. This is the 5th one. So any 4 you can attempt. If a point xy is equidistant from 9, 8 and 17, 8, then which of this following relationship will be true? So xy is equidistant from Q and S. So this I am going to give the point as P. If xy is equidistant, then my PQ will be same as PS. So I can use the distance formula to solve this. My distance formula is x2 minus x1 whole square plus y2 minus y1 whole square. I can write x minus 9 the whole square plus y minus 8 the whole square is equal to PS is again x minus 17 the whole square plus y minus 8 the whole square. When you do this, the squaring both sides, the square root will go. So this is equal to x square minus 18x plus 81 plus y square minus 16y plus 64 is equal to, again here, x square minus 34x plus 289 plus y minus 8. So y square minus 16y plus 64. So this we can cancel x square and x square, y square and y square, this xy 16y, everything this side it will get cancelled. Now we have minus 18x and minus 34. 34 you bring to this side. So 34 minus 18x is equal to 289 minus 81. So when you simplify this, we got x equal to 13. Let's see whether x is 30. X equal to 13 is there in the option. So x equal to 13 means x minus 13 equal to 0. So the answer is x minus 13 equal to 0. Now the second question, case study based question, is from the chapter triangle. So they have given here scale factor and similarity. So the definition of the scale factor they have given: the scale drawing of an object is the same shape as the object, but it will be of different size. And scale drawing of the scale of a drawing is a comparison of the length used on a drawing to the length it represents. The scale is written as a ratio. Then similar figure means the ratio of two corresponding sides in similar figure is called a scale factor, or scale factor is equal to length in image to the corresponding length in object. And if one shape can become another using resizing, then the shapes are similar. So all these things you have to keep in your point. Or rotation or turn, then also you will be getting similar figure. Reflection or flip, translation or slide. Now the first question based on the scale factor is: the model of a boat is made on a scale 1:4. The model is 120 centimeter long, and the full size of the boat has got width of 60 centimeter. So what will be the width of the scale model? That is the first question. What will be the width of the scale model? So we can see this is the original boat, this is the scale model, and the scale, this boat is made in the ratio 1:4. So they have given the width of the full size boat, they have given the width, that is 60 centimeters. So what will be the width of the scale model? It will be definitely 15 centimeters. 60 divided by 4, so 15 centimeters. So we will see whether the answer is there, 15 centimeters. Now what will affect the similarity of any two polygons? So actually they are not the mirror image of one another. Again, if two similar triangles have a scale factor of a:b, which statement regarding the two triangle is true? Their perimeter actually it should be a:b. Here they have given 3a:b, so this is wrong. But the altitude have a ratio a:b. This is correct. Among the four, the altitude have a ratio a:b. That statement is correct. Again, the next question: the shadow of a stick 5 meter long is 2 meter. Stick 5 meter and the shadow is 2 meter long. At the same time, shadow of a tree is 12.5 meter high is how much? We need to find the shadow. So shadow of, we can write 5/2. We don't know the shadow of the tree, so we can take that as x. So cross multiply. 5 into x is equal to 12.5 into 2, or x is equal to 12.5 into 2 divided by 5, which is equal to 25 by 5, 5 centimeter, 5 meter. So whether we can see 5 meter is there. So this is the answer. And last, one more question is there from this. 5 questions are there. Out of that, 4 only you need to answer. So the fifth one is little bit big. Below you see a student's mathematical model of a farmhouse roof with measurement. The attic floor ABCD in the model is a square. Again, the beams that support the roof are edges of a rectangular prism. The beams that support the roof, you can see they are edges of a rectangular prism. The floor in this model, you can see it is a square as they told, and the beams are rectangular prism. Then E, F, G, H, K, L, M, N. Then E is the middle of AT. Okay, E is the midpoint. Again, F is the midpoint of BT. G is the midpoint of CT. H is the midpoint of DT. So you have to middle. That means midpoint. So you have to keep this in your mind. All the edges of the pyramid in the model have length 12 meter. So this is the, all these edges have got 12 meter. Now the question is, what is the length of EF, where EF is one of the horizontal edges of the block. So we can say that it is just a half, so 12 meter. Edges, this will be 12 divided by 2 because E is the midpoint. You can write as 6 meter. Definitely it will not be 24 and 24 meter. It is not, by seeing itself you can make out this is bigger and this is smaller, so definitely it is not going to be 24. And the scale factor, this problem is based on scale factor, and they have given clearly E and F, all those things at the middle point. So it is divided by 2. 12 divided by 2 is 6 meter. Now next, question number 3, case study based 3, application of parabolas, highway, overpass or underpass. We can see here in this picture a highway underpass is parabolic in shape. You can see here this is parabolic in shape. Now a parabola is the graph that results from P of x is equal to x square plus bx plus c. Parabolas are symmetric about a vertical line known as axis of symmetry. The axis of symmetry runs through the maximum or minimum point of the parabola, which is called as vertex. So they have given here the vertex picture also, and this line is the axis of symmetry. Now we will solve this. If the highway overpass is represented by x square minus 2x minus 8, then its zeros are. So seeing that you need not be tense, just you need to solve this and we will get the zeros of this quadratic polynomial. You should find two numbers such that product should be minus 8 and sum should be minus 2, and we know that it is product should be minus 8, so minus 4 into 2 and minus 4 plus 2. So the factors are x minus 4 and x plus 2 are the factors of this. So the zeros will be x is equal to 4 and x is equal to minus 2. So this will be the option 4 and minus 2. Next one, zeros of a polynomial can be expressed graphically. Number of zeros of the polynomial is equal to number of points where the graph of the polynomial intersect x-axis, y-axis, y-axis or x-axis, none of the above. So it is very clear that we have studied that it intersects the x-axis. Number of zeros of the polynomial will be given by the number of points where the graph intersect the x-axis. Next one, graph of a quadratic polynomial, definitely it will be a parabola. Graph of a linear equation is a straight line, so this will be a parabola. And the last question, no, one more is there. The representation of highway underpass whose one zero is x and sum of 0 is given by. So we know x square minus, if alpha and beta are the zeros, general formula is x square minus alpha plus beta into x plus alpha into beta. So here one zero is 6 and sum of the 0 is zeros. That means alpha plus beta is 0, but 0 is 6. So what will be the beta? Beta will be minus 6. So we can substitute it. Sum of 0 is 6 and the product of 0 is 6 into minus 6. So it is equal to x square minus 36. So let's see whether x square minus, so which is equal to x square minus 36. So the answer is x square minus 36. It is there in the option. Number of zeros that this polynomial can have is, so we can find out the zeros of this polynomial. X minus 2 the whole square is equal to minus 4. So x square minus 4x plus 4 equal to minus 4. Then x square minus 4x is equal to 8. X square minus 4x minus 8 equal to 0. You should find two numbers such that product should be minus 8 and sum should be minus 4. So there is no such numbers, we cannot find out, or you can there is no such number, so we can say that the number of zeros for this polynomial is 0. There is no 0 for this polynomial. because we cannot find out two numbers such that product should be -8 and their sum should be -4. So this is not possible, or we can say that the discriminant is less than 0, so hence number of zeros for this polynomial is 0. Next we have case study based 4, that is fourth question. So 100-meter race, a stopwatch was used to find the time that it took a group of students to run 100 meter. So here they have given the table, time in seconds and number of students. So 8 students have run within 20 seconds, 10 students within 20 to 40 seconds. So the data is given like this. Estimate the mean time taken by the student to finish the race. That means you have to find the arithmetic mean. To find out the arithmetic mean, we need to find the midpoint. So the midpoint is 10, 30, 50, 70 and 80 to 100. Midpoint is 90. So this is the class interval, this is the frequency, and this is the midpoint. So we need to find out f of x, which is equal to 8 into 10, 80, 300, 13 into 50 is 650, again 420 and 93s are 270. We know the formula to find out arithmetic mean. X bar is equal to sigma fi xi divided by sigma fi. If you do the total of the frequency, you will be getting 40. So the arithmetic mean x bar is equal to, we need to total sigma fi xi also. When you total this, you will be getting 1720. So 1720 divided by 40 will be equal to 43. So here the mean is 43. The second question is, what will be the upper limit of model class? We know that the model class is 40 to 60. So the upper limit of the model class is 60. Again, the third question, the construction of cumulative frequency table is useful in determining the median. For doing median only, we are finding out cumulative frequency distribution table. Next question, the sum of lower limit of median class and model class. Now already we got the model class, that is from 40 to 60. And what is our median class? How will you find out median class? Median class, we need to take the total is 40 divided by 2 is 20, and so that cumulative frequency we need to find out. So finding out cumulative frequency, you add this, so this will give you cumulative frequency 8, 18, 31. When you add this, 31 plus 6 is 37, 37 plus 3 is 40. So this median class will be also 40 to 60. So median class and model class both are 40 to 60. So the question is, sum of lower limit of median class and model class, that is 40 plus 40 is 80. Again, next question, how many students finish the race within 1 minute? So within 1 minute means within 60 seconds. So you need to add all this 3, 8 plus 10 plus 13. So when you add this, how many students have finished the race within 8 plus 10 plus 13, which is equal to 31. So these are the 4 case study based questions. First question was asked from the chapter coordinate geometry. Second one from the chapter triangles. Third one from the chapter polynomials. And the last one is from the chapter statistics. Each question has got 5 subparts. You need to attempt only 4 subparts. So thank you for watching my video.